Hello guys. Um, I've made a group, or I've been in a group, a third gen group, and I have said that I LS swap. And I know a lot of people has asked how, or maybe make a video. And this is the video. This is a 2002 Dodge Ram 1500 LCT, if that matters. I have LS swapped it. The original engine in this truck was the 4.7 motor, as you can see. Transmission was forward drive. I went to the junkyard, got a 5.3, and out of all the engines, I found this engine with the 799 heads. Now, if y'all know, I think it's the 243 and the 799 are I think the good heads that you can probably find in the scrapyard. The other heads are like for the 6.2, and those are more difficult to find. I think most of them are like 706 and 806 or something like that. And those are just kind of like, I believe that the 799 and 243 are the higher flowing heads. So yeah, this engine came with them. I have replaced every single seal. I went through the whole engine, took the oil pan covers, and it has the GM Performance cam with the GM Performance LM7 lifters, I believe. It has a DOD delete. To tell if you have a DOD or VVT, you would see on your, I guess your front cover plate. There'll be I guess you see like where the cam will be. It'll be like that. As you can see, that little bulge for the crank. It'll be like that on the very top, where the cam. So that would be if you know VVT. DOD is if you have like, I guess, like lines on that plate right there. This is a DOD plate delete. But the originals will have like that. It looks like, I guess it'd be running like little galleys, or like say like veins. It would be oil passages that would be for the DOD lifters. This does have the DOD delete, as I said. It is not a lot to do to LS up your RAM. Now the only thing is kind of tricky is, picking out your EFI system and looking for the wires, because a lot of the years of the Rams are kind of different. So yeah, for the kit that I used the ACCFI. As you can see, the top end kit with the harness and everything. 92 millimeter throttle body. I think it's like 45-pound injectors or something like that. I'm not sure. I am running the stock fuel pump of the Ram. That's because supposedly the Ram could run up to 58 to like 61, depending on how. If you're running your, I don't know if y'all know how a fuel pump works, but if you run your truck or car to E all the time, your fuel pump works harder. It creates more heat. That's what the gasoline is for, to cool it off, since you have no coolants going through your fuel pump or anything like that. The gasoline is supposed to keep the fuel pump more to operating temperatures. Now if you're running the E, it's just like sucking a bunch of air and all that. So the more you do that, the more you kind of kill the power, and the weaker it gets. This truck, I've always tried to, once I'm at a quarter of gas, I always fill it up more. Now with the throttle cable, I've used the original. The throttle body on this one was too skinny for it to fit the throttle cable in. As you can see, that end, I tried to drill a hole in the top, didn't work out. Either way, there's the end. I put it on the second hole. Either way, I had to shave it, actually, the throttle cable in, to fit in those holes. I'm not sure if that's just a GM thing or that's an aftermarket thing where they're skinnier, but I know every car is different. So I put it on the second one because I put it in the first one, and when you give it gas or floor it or whatever, it only opened that much. Now on the second hole, when you give it gas, it opens all the way. You see, I know I put the fuel pressure sensor. I know it's supposed to be where it goes in, but with the Asus EF5, they have the fuel pressure sensor tied up to a coolant temp sensor, which the coolant temp sensor is over here. And so it wouldn't have reached back there. And I couldn't put it, my bad. I couldn't put it here because my alternator is already hitting it. That's why it's missing one bolt. That bolt's pretty tight and the belt's holding it down. I do plan on taking the fan clutch out because I did get an aftermarket fan, a 16-inch fan for it. I'm using the stock radiator, just using the GM radiator hose, upper radiator hose. I believe you can use the Ram. Now for the heater hose, same thing. Now with the GM, it has one smaller, one bigger for the inlet and outlet. Ram is the same size. So the clamp from the big end, this one right here, with this hose, you would need to put a separate hose clamp. Take that one out, put a separate hose clamp. This will fit right because it was like the same size as the Ram would have. That being over right here, those two. What else? I'm missing from up top. That I just changed because old cap broke. Oh, for the power steering, I know there's the reservoir one, which is this one, or there is the I think it's just like enclosed. I have it in the backyard, like little scrap pile. I'll see if I show it, but you can tell the difference. The reservoir actually has the reservoir in there. Let's see. With that, also about 2 years ago I replaced the rack and pinion. I got one of these the power steering hoses, one of these. Which, as you can see, and both of them go down there. But with that one, that's what I did with the original rated power steering hose. Normally it goes, I guess, facing up like that, like how you see I turn my phone like that, and then I just laid it flat like that. Capped off the sensor that was supposed to be for pressure on power steering pressure, I believe. And it goes in. It carries, but there's no flex, but doesn't, no bends. It's not hurting anything, whatnot. Motor mounts are pretty simple. All you have to do is kind of slot them or drill the holes bigger. Now it depends on what electrical for the power and ground you run. If you want to keep the GM or run the Ram, the Ram grounds work. One for Ram, one goes to the frame, one goes to the body or the cab, and then one goes to the block, which is right there, right behind the power steering line. Motor mount, as you can see, you only have to mess with the steel that's bolts onto the block, not that one. I know it's missing one bolt. I just did that just to get it in. This one you have to, so you see where it's at. Originally it was more to the right. Slotted it more to the left, so more close. Basically, you're slotting them more closer to the edge. So say that bolt, say it's like there in the middle, and you needed it more to the right. You slotted it as close as you can to the edge, and to the left as close as you can to the edge as well. Or just get a hole saw, make it bigger. And that's what I did. I tried to put the sizes down of the hole saw, and then all I did was use a bigger washer, third locker. Now that's how the ground cable is. Power cable doesn't reach completely. It reaches to the starter, but then it's sitting down below. I made 2 extensions just to get the truck on. I am gonna remake that completely, as I don't like how it looks, and I don't really think it's good like that. On this side as well, here's the motor mount. I did the same thing. As you can see, they're bigger washers. I have an aftermarket braided transmission, um, tube, checker line. I forget what it's called. Dipstick. There you go. Old dipstick as well. Um, the original hole is right there for the old dipstick, but this one's kind of short. These are from Amazon. This bracket was from Amazon. Oh yeah, and you need a bracket unless if your system doesn't come with unless if you want to run a universal throttle cable, then you really won't need this bracket. There's other brackets made for that, which are more simpler. Alternator, ACCFI uses the Power EN yellow wire. So they give you the connector system. I believe it's the red. It's the extra wires that they give you. It's the Power EN crank. That runs off if you look at the starter on the Ram, it has like a connector. There's like a 2-pin. I've cut it off. I believe, I'm not sure if I threw it away. It was somewhere around here. I guess I threw it away. I think it's like a 2-pin connector or 1-pin connector. It just connects to the starter. That doesn't work if you try to splice it. That's what I tried to do. Didn't work. I'm assuming because it runs off the computers of the RAM. So all you have to do is run a power cable. As you can see, a red cable going all around past the brake booster. That's the same way I ran the harness. The harness just ran down below, as you can see. Relays, the fuses. There's where the computer is mounted. It's on this, but on the other side. Obviously, you have to take the horns out. I still got to screw them back in. Yeah, but you run the red cable that goes to the starter. You run it to this yellow wire right here. I just spliced it together, cut both of them in the middle, butt connected it, put it 2 wires in one end of the butt connector, heat shrinked it. Obviously there's a cover that goes here, so if you don't see those wires, take the cover off first. Obviously, ground obviously goes in ground, power goes on power. You want to keep it clean on power and ground, which will go straight to your battery for that. What else am I missing? I'm not running AC, so as you can see, there's no AC dryer. All the AC stuff is right here. Transmission, that's the cover to hide all those wires. Power steering, same thing. I do plan on getting a aftermarket cooler and for the transmission, power steering, and with fans, because I went to an electric fan. Like I said, I want to take the clutch fan away. Let's see, now if you want to block those AC lines, plug them, block them. So if you do the same swap and you don't want to run AC right now, because you're going to have to fab up some lines, because the AC compressor LS sits down here. Now you can get a mounting bracket that will go up here, but either way you still have to kind of fab up some lines, I believe. Let's see, I took the wiring in there just to get it out the way. I am gonna take it all completely. It's just one nut in that box. I believe it's an 8mm. There's all of this yanks out. There's a couple of scissors you gotta disconnect the computers. Obviously all of it comes out, give it a more nicer, cleaner look. Let's see, I'm running new spark plug wires. There's just the Duralast from AutoZone, nothing special. Kind of painted it with the paint that I just had laying around. What else am I missing? Guess that's it from here. Ignition wire and the fuel pump wire is what I'm working on for the harness, the EFI system, because about every fuse or all the fuses in the fuse box for the RAM are all hot, so you can't really try to tap into a fuse. That's why I've been looking through these wires, but I mean, these wires are the same thing going to the fuses, so they're pretty hot. Fuel pump wire, like I said, all these Rams by different years or models. Change up is kind of wet. It rained up last night. Yeah, all the fuel pump wires, or all the wiring, or most of the wiring, are different colors. This is the orange wire from the EFI system, which I try to splice to the green and white wire, which that is the fuel pump. If you have a power probe or use alligator clips with power, or extension wire from the battery or something, you would hear the fuel pump kick on and stay running. But it doesn't. For some reason, I don't know if that's my mistake. I mean, it has connection, but the system seems like it's not talking to the fuel pump. There is a built-in relay on the system. But it's something I have to figure out. There are 4 wires that go to the fuel pump. I think the blue one. I even tried to splice the blue one in. Blue and white. I don't know if you can see it. It's this one right here. That's just the fuel level sensor, so don't fuck with that one. Orange wire, I forgot what that was. I think that goes to something else, but I read it on some other person's truck, and I guess it ended up being different because, like I said, every year it's kind of different color change. This is the 4L60E transmission. Forward drive transfer case. I do plan on taking the front differential off, front axle, whatever you want to call it. Aftermarket pan, because in my scrapyard they just drill holes and dump the oil. I'm assuming that might be out most of them. Let's see. You would have to fab up a cross member, not completely, but like you would either. I have a metal plate. I'll try to see what size it is. But you would have to either weld or bolt a plate, 3-inch plate, because I believe these are 2 inches apart, from here to there, about 1.5 inches. So you either weld one or bolt one down and drill another hole for where the motor mount's gonna sit. Same thing with the drive shaft. Either get a custom drive shaft, single piece, 2-piece, doesn't matter. Either way, it will need to be shortened. As you can see, that's the pinion on the transmission. This is the 1350 series pinion. 32 spline, I believe, but that's because I know a lot of people will be like, oh, well, isn't that a 4L80? No, I believe it's because it's the it's for the transfer case. And there we go. That's the 1350 series yoke. So you would need to get a conversion yoke. Unless you go custom drive shaft, then you can, tell them to make you a more thicker one. That would be 1350 series, then just get 1350 series U-joints. But if you're running the same and you just want to cut it and by 2 inches or 1.5 inches, obviously measure. I'm not sure right now. I'm not on this point yet. I'm trying to figure out the wiring, and then I'm trying to touch up the engine, and so don't quote me on any of this right now. I'm just basing off what it looks like in my eyes, but it looks like about 1.5 inches too. If you're gonna run the stock and yourself, you're just gonna use a miter saw or cut off wheel or something to cut 2 inches off the drive shaft, re-weld it on. You will for drive shaft is the 1310. You will need a Moog U-joint. I think the part number is 348. I will try to go make sure, look for the part in my garage. That is a 1310 to 1350 conversion. I know if you look online, they're gonna show you like Spicer and other brands. And if you want to wait, then you can wait. But if you want to get it now, go to your local. I believe every auto parts sells Moog. So I'm not sure about O'Reilly's, but I believe every other one sells Moog, AutoZone, and Advance. And just ask them for the 348 part number. This Ram has the 392 limited slip differential rear axle. I've replaced it. I believe it's 392. I'm not sure. I have to look back at my notes because I think this one had a 350 something. I believe. I'm not sure. So it was, all I know is the differential came off a 5.7 Hemi Bumblebee edition or something like that. But I didn't know it's like 390 something. And I know it's limited slip. Let's see, for your transmission cable, this transmission is rebuilt. It looks like it was rebuilt. I have pictures of when I took the oil paint that looks super clean. This transmission came out of so when I went to the junkyard, I went to 2 different cars. This transmission came out of a Tahoe or Yukon, one of those type of SUVs. And the engine came out of a Chevy Express van. When I went to the Tahoe, it looked like people were already kind of taking apart some of the stuff. I don't think they were taking the transmission out, but they were like, picking out the transmission, because they even took the, that and the dry shaft and all that. So I had to order this. I mean, if you want it now, just go to the store. Advance has it. They're universal. It'd be like GM Universal. You would have to take this bracket off there because that won't work. You can either move it forward. Let's see. As you can see, it go in there. It won't reach though. So move it forward just by the one hole, one bolt, and reach. Or I think you could kind of bend the Ram one to make this one fit, which will be a more better fit. Fuel line is a stock. GM uses the fuel in and fuel return. Dodge doesn't. They just use fuel in. And some of the GMs doesn't either. They just use fuel in as well. Oh yeah, and for the axle, if you want more space, take the bolts off. There's those 2 and those 2 over there, if you can see those 2. You turn it if you're going to keep the forward drive on, or the front differential on, if your truck is forward drive. You turn it, drops, so it doesn't hit up here. Because once you figure out that you're taking out the 4.7 or any motor out of this, you're going to notice that it's going to hit that axle either way. There's the rear of the motor mounts. Let me zoom in. You can see bigger washers. I cut it because the forward drive has that black plate where you see the 2 bolts of the big washers will connect to the transmission. So I just cut it. As you can see, that little sharp kind of point right there. I just cut it with a saw. You can cut it with a cut-off wheel grinder. Just stock manifolds from scrapyard. That's how they cut them. This system only runs one oxygen sensor. You can run the other one. I believe they tell you the part number there if you want to buy the other one. It's a Bosch, I believe. What else? Told you to turn that down. I told you about the transmission mount and the dry shaft. Let's see what else. Oh, how there's a 2-piece motor mount, or just I guess one, and just one's just a plate. Let me get this on. I don't know if I'm trying to adjust. It might be better than the front. Let me get out of here. That right there, that bolt, you would want to loosen it on both sides so those motor mounts can pitch, or move. So because I believe the engine is kind of more at a more of an angle, or I don't know. You figure it out. Just do that. So you kind of move it. Because good thing about these motor mounts, one is a hook. Both sides have hooks. So you put one bolt, hook it up, and both sides, and the engine's in. Then you put the second bolt in, it's straight through. Let's see. Yeah, try to do that. Have someone under holding it to where the angle is for the engine, and it'll go in. What else? I think that's really it. I am going to still try to figure out the ignition, ignition, and the fuel pump wire. But that's really it. Oh, brake booster. Rams is short. It connect to the bottom of the intake, but then it won't reach the brake booster. Then a 3 is fuel line. That's 3 feet, I believe. You might only need 2. I will have to shorten that either way. I will shorten that either way. What else am I missing? Okay, I went with the alternator. Alternator plugs in. I believe the harness already has a resistor. If you're not gonna run the harness, or you're running a regular, eBay or standalone kit with just a GM and their own computer, obviously you have to delete the VATs. So you have to send your computer in for like tuning, or the safety and all that, anti-theft removal. You will need a power cable connector, connected to that. I believe it's a 470 ohm resistor, and it's go to any ignition source, 12-volt ignition source. And that will make the alternator start charging. Holley, I believe you can get it, and their own system runs it by the computer EFACES as well. But if you're running just like a GM, then get a 470 ohm resistor. I'm not sure. Just you can look up other videos on LS swaps, and they will say that as well. I think it's like 460, 470 ohm resistor. All you do is splice the resistor, and then splice it on the other one, heat shrink, and just run it to an ignition source. You can run it to the ignition key or whatever. That's probably where I'm gonna run the ignition wire. I'm just at all the wiring's there, so I'm not sure if it'll reach there. So I'm just kind of looking here first. I just lengthen it. This one comes with a handheld. A lot of the EFI systems come with handhelds. That's the handheld. All I did was took this cover, which this had really nothing to do with it. That one, well, to take that one off, I guess, yeah. And it runs right there where the clutch master cylinder would go if the truck was manual. Now, if your truck is manual, you'll have to find another spot. But that's where it is. All you do is drill a hole, and it goes in. If your truck is manual and you need another spot, there are, I believe, grommets right there, which will lead under the dash, I believe, or I'm not sure, maybe under the wiper blades. But you have to look for your own spot, I guess, or just drill a hole in the firewall. But that's where I'm running for the LCD screen, or I forgot what it's called, handheld, I guess. That has, I believe, GPS built in and all of that to give you your how fast you're going, RPMs and all that. I am running a AN braided line. Sorry, the truck is a mess. I'm just throwing a bunch of tools in here. AN lines, fittings and all that. I do plan on running it. Same thing for the power steering, and making everything to AN. Same thing if I want to change the fuel lines later on. Let's see. Let me get in the engine bay. For the fuel line, I just bought it. I think it was a 8N fit in with a I want to say 3/8 quick connect, but it's not. I'm not so sure. That's just how it is. It screws into the fuel rail back, and it goes into the quick connect from the original ram. Give me 1 second. Get out again. That's it. As I'm taking off the clutch fan, so I will be running the electric fan, which is this one. As you can see, that's getting rained. Hopefully it's not damaged. I just got it yesterday too. I cut the fan shroud because I want to keep these two. Obviously you can do relocate, but that's more later on. I want to get this build as fast as I can done. There is, I believe the harness already has like relays or whatever built in for the fans. Here's the extra wires I'm talking about. These right here, it's called additional wires. Just look through them, read them. There's like fan 1, fan 2, launch control, I believe, brake switch, all that. It's not most of the time when you get a fan kit, they come with all that extra stuff you can see in those bags. Just wired. That's really it. There's other videos for that. I can try to, if my EFI system doesn't run it by its own, then I will show y'all, make another video of how to do the fan conversion kit or whatever. I don't think I'm missing anything. If y'all think I'm missing something, let me know. I'm pretty sure I have described everything that you needed to know for the LS swap RAM. Later on, I do plan on going maybe with a 6.0 because I have a friend that's replacing his 6.0, and I probably just gonna ask if, you know, instead of him just scrapping it, give it to me, I'll rebuild it, because I do want to do like maybe like a turbo build. So you see there's a, you know, a good amount of space. Yeah, I'm basically done. The only things I need to do is, you know, assemble the rest of the truck, figure out those 2 wires, and the drive shaft and transmission mount, and that's really it. And, you know, put oil. The engine already has oil, it already has ran. I'll see if I can put a little mini video. It kept on dying on me, but that's because of the fuel pump, like I said. I was using the power probe. I sent power to the fuel pump. Once I let it go off the power probe, engine dies. Because the EFI system, I don't know if there's something wrong with the system, it's just the wrong wire. Because I know I think there's like 2 grounds, the fuel level sensor, and then that wire that's supposed to be the supply. I'm sure. If not, I'm gonna have to like see if I can splice it to one of the fuel pump wire over here. Maybe that might be better. But if y'all, if y'all know, y'all can let me know. Make it easier for me. Let's see. The transmission lines will just run through here. Go here, says right here, says right here. My only thing oh yeah, and I have to do the power cable. I can't forget that. And that's it. Just power cable, 2 wires, drive shaft, transmission. Put the, you know, assemble that and the radiator, condenser fan with the AC radiator, or whether, I think it's a condenser. It's a condenser. I might just leave it out. I guess. Yeah, I was thinking of just leaving it out, not connecting it. Guess, what's the point? I don't have any AC right now. Just throw it in the garage somewhere. But yeah, that's it. If y'all have any questions, let me know. I'll show you the yellow wire. That's your crank wire. That's what it's called, crank wire. If you have any questions, let me know. If you're stuck on anything, let me know. If I didn't explain anything, let me know. Yeah, thank y'all.